I'd like to call this meeting to order, JPS, the February 2nd meeting. The physical quorum is not present, so under 70 of OMA, members are eligible to participate virtually. We have the requisite officers present at our regular meeting location, and online and in-person public comment has been provided for with health protocols in the room. All votes are going to be roll call votes. With that, Erin, will you call roll call, please?
Chair Ranahan.
Here.
Member Chaplin. Here. Member Covert. Member Dessart. Member Eckhoff.
Here.
Sorry, Member Dessart is here. Here.
Member Garcia.
Here.
Member Kajewski. Member Ozog.
Here.
Member Pachalski. Member Schwarzy.
Here.
Member Selman.
Here.
Member Zay.
Here.
I understand that we have one public comment or possibly more.
Yes, one public comment from Jennifer Hayes. Subject, DuPage signed anti-transparency contract with Dominion Voting Systems on January 24th, 2020. DuPage County Clerk Jean Kazmierczak and her Chief Deputy Scott McKay signed an anti-transparency contract with Dominion Voting Systems on January 24th, 2020. Anti-transparency contract is the complete opposite of what our elections should be. They should be transparent, but not anti-transparent. This smells of nothing but corruption. We, the people, are angry about this, and they need to be fired. How can they sign something like this on their own? This type of decision should not have been made by them. Fire them. Link to the contract, EdgarCountyWatchdogs.com is included from the contract. 8. Customer shall take any and all action necessary or appropriate to assert all applicable or potentially applicable exemptions from disclosure under the FOIA statute and take all other legally permissible steps to resist disclosure of the information, including, without limitation, commencement or defense of any legal actions related to such disclosure. In the event customer receives a request for information under the FOIA statute, customer shall inform Dominion of such request within 10 days of customer's knowledge or such shorter period as necessary under the FOIA statute to avoid prejudice to Dominion's ability to oppose disclosure. Dominion shall use its best efforts to assist and support customers' exercise of any statutory exemption in denying a records request under the Freedom of Information Act. Statute cited. In the event the customer becomes subject to fines, costs, or fees pursuant to Section 11 of the Freedom of Information Act, section cited, relying upon Dominion's claim that the information requested is exempt, Dominion shall indemnify customer for those fines, fees, and costs, notwithstanding any other provisions in this agreement. In the event customer is required by court order to disclose any of the information, customer shall give written notice to Dominion at the earlier, as soon as reasonably practical after tile imposition of such an order. End of public comment.
Thank you, Erin. Do we have any public comment in the room? All right, seeing none, I just let the committee know that invitation has been sent to all of our JPS stakeholders for our March 2nd meeting on obligations and impact under the House Bill Criminal Justice. We're set for 1 p.m. in the boardroom, and the whole county board will be invited, and we will be live streamed as well. With that, I see that our court administrator, Suzanne Armstrong, is on our Zoom. Give us a quick update on Courtroom.
Thank you, Chair Ranahan. Good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to tell you that yesterday, traffic court resumed in-person proceedings. As you know, we have 4 traffic courts. We have 3 inside the Judicial Office Facility, the JOF. They are on the 1st floor, and 1 is in Glendale Heights. This was sort of the first date for Courtroom 1002 and also Glendale Heights. We're fortunate that each of these traffic courts have been able to be reconfigured to allow for 35 people in the gallery for each of those traffic courts. Before we decided to resume traffic court, we met with Karen Ayala and Chris Hoff of the DuPage County Health Department. And we wanted to work with them on the timing of opening traffic court and any decisions we should make on the process or configuration of the courtroom to do so. Obviously, with keeping the risk of community transmission of COVID to a minimum. We did several things. We have the social distancing set up, but we also have staggered the calls. So what that means is in a pre-pandemic situation in traffic court, you would have 2 time slots, basically one in the morning and one in the afternoon, and the entire call would be heard at that time. And this could be 200 cases, and there was obviously a lot more seating, and people would filter in and out. Due to the need to reduce the number of people in the courtroom, last August we moved to a staggered call. And the staggered call has 3 time slots in the morning and 3 time slots in the afternoon. This allows us to set a lower number of cases, but to spread them out over those 6 time slots. It proved very successful once we put it in. We were able to reduce the backlog that we had, make a good dent into that, and also keep the number of people down. So we have implemented that again with traffic court now, where we have these 6 time slots. In making the decision to, any decision going forward with resuming court and how court proceeds, we work very closely with our stakeholders. We've been doing this through the entire pandemic. It takes all of us to get these cases moving and to get court operating safely. We've been working with Sheriff Jim Mendrick, State's Attorney Bob Berlin, Candace Adams from our circuit clerk, and Jeff York, the public defender. We are also extremely grateful to the county board for allocating the CARES Act funding that has allowed for courthouse improvements. That funding not only built the eviction courtroom on the first floor and this new traffic courtroom, but it has also allowed us to begin jury trials on March 1st. And with the social distancing, we are able to have 3 courtrooms that will accommodate a 12-person jury, and 1 courtroom will accommodate a 6-person jury. Now, our jury lounge will hold 80 to 90 people, and in a socially distant fashion. Additionally, we have added 1 more day of jurors coming in the courthouse. Previously, we had gone down to 3 days as a budget concern, but since we are limited to the number of jurors we can have and we need to get the jury trials moving, we are now calling in jurors, or will be starting March 1st, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I have to thank and commend Mark Thomas and the facilities department for reconfiguring basically the whole courthouse and making these courtrooms happen and working on the design and just constantly improving as we learn and as we go. And they've done an amazing job. The things that the reconfiguration of these courtrooms to allow the jurors to be socially distant, to allow the galleries to be safe, it actually helps us have as normal of a trial process as possible. One of the rooms that will accommodate the 12-person jury is courtroom 3011, and that is the brand new, we haven't really called it, but the pandemic courtroom. It was constructed specifically for, with the CARES Act funding that the county board allocated, and it was constructed to allow for social distancing. And this courtroom is 2,500 square feet. It has seating for 14 jurors, all 6 feet apart. And then the gallery is also, the seats are all single chairs, 6 feet apart. It has 4 counsel tables that are on wheels to allow social distancing and reconfiguring as needed. It also has the flexibility to hear criminal cases. There's a holding cell, and also multi-party civil cases where you need all those counsel tables. I think that it's important that these jury trials get started and that the jurors feel comfortable coming into the courthouse. And one of the many of the improvements that have been made throughout the past few months are doing exactly that. They're going to make not only the staff and everyone who comes in the courthouse, but jurors feel safe coming in the courthouse. We have the new Hvac system that is circulating the air approximately 4 times an hour. It also cleans it using UVC technology. Our housekeeping staff has done an amazing job cleaning constantly cleaning those frequently touched surfaces. And also they use UVC technology, and they basically move this machine into a space and it zaps any germs, viruses from that space. This is the same technology that hospitals use. all these things are very important, ensuring the safety of those who work here, but also we need to make sure that the jurors feel safe when they come into the courthouse. I think that the getting the jury trials moving going forward, it'll be very helpful in getting cases disposed, because without the ability to have these jury trials, people, the cases kind of stagnate. So we're looking forward to March 1st, and we're trying to maximize as many jury trials as we can get going then. But going forward, there's a lot of other business that the court's doing, and we are using Zoom as much as possible. The technology has been embraced. Many of the divisions are hearing the majority of their cases are on Zoom. And they're hearing there's been trials and things like that. So we're using every tool that we've been given to keep the cases moving. Thank you. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Suzanne. I think we can all agree that forward. Member Charles has a question.
Yes, on all these traffic cases that have been somebody misses their first court date, are there what's on, are we kind of accommodating just the backlogs?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question. If someone could repeat it.
My question is, what are we doing if somebody doesn't go to their first court hearing? We have such a backlog, and if somebody misses a court date for that first court hearing, are we giving them a continuance?
I think the judges are taking into account that, the communication they may not understand, and so they're going to most likely give that another date. And so I don't think they're, if that's the question.
Member Tornatori has a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To answer Member Pachowski's question, and I was there yesterday in traffic court on behalf of the Village of Bloomingdale. Anybody who missed their first court date was given a continuance. We didn't do any bond forfeitures or anything given the pandemic. I did want to congratulate Ms. Armstrong and the Chief Judge and Clerk Adams. I was there yesterday for the rollout. I was there for 3 hours in the morning, room 1003. It went without a hitch. Everybody felt safe. There were very few people in the courtrooms at one time. So whatever you've been doing was certainly successful, and I think it will continue that way. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
With that, I'd like to also say, I think Member Pachowski and I were over there speaking with Suzanne and Chief Judge, and seeing what's been done over there, is we can really be proud of DuPage County, keeping our judicial system going. So, and with that, I'd like to welcome our new Circuit Court Clerk, Candace Adams, and she will be presenting on cannabis expungement. Right off the bat, her team has had a very large assignment, so please update us on what is going on.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank all of you, especially Chairwoman Renahan, for having us here today. There's much to be proud of in our office, and I'm happy to be given the opportunity to provide some of it with you here today. We put together a small PowerPoint presentation for this. I'm going to move through it kind of quickly and just highlight some of the points as to what's happening in the office and with these expungements. Next slide. Next slide. Since this is my first time before you, and many of us in this room and in Zoom are new, I thought I'd take just a quick moment to outline some of the functions that we do in our office. While we perform many functions, our main directive is to provide staff in the courtroom with clerks, provide clerks within our office to handle all filings, and to be the record keeper for the court. Next slide, please. Our office leads the state in many areas. Our IT team is certainly one of the best in the state, and they showcase their ability during the COVID era by, among other things, when they navigated sending out over 300,000 notices rescheduling court dates and times, more than what is double of a typical year. Next slide, please. Now on to expungements. For reference, an expungement removes something from a record. It removes an arrest, a conviction, or some other part of your record so that it no longer becomes searchable. The removal allows for individuals to apply for jobs, housing, military entrance, among other things, that they would not have otherwise been a candidate for. Next slide. There's many actions that can trigger being eligible for expungement. The normal process for an expungement is to file the appropriate documents with our office and to pay a $120 fee. When this happens, the expungement is sent to the appropriate agencies for review. Next slide. The relevant agency decides if they'd like to object to the expungement. If no objection, a judge signs off on the order ordering the expungement to occur. If there is an objection, the judge will hold a hearing and make a determination as to whether or not the expungement should be granted. Next slide, please. Once signed, the orders are sent to the relevant agencies to expunge a record. They're to completely destroy the record. We do maintain a record in our office, however. Next slide. Moving on to automatic expungements under this current legislation. The legislation that discusses automatic expungements passed in 2019. The legislation made many changes, but two to highlight are the first two on this slide. One, it decriminalized possession of cannabis for amounts under 30 grams for people 21 or over. That's important that it's for 21 and over only. It eliminated violations for possession of cannabis paraphernalia, and in most cases that we found, this is the charge that many pled to. So you would get a different charge, but you would plead down to paraphernalia charge. Next, please. Next. Okay. Under the Act, the Illinois State Police is directed to provide, so how the process works for all this, that is, under the Act, the Illinois State Police is directed to provide a list of eligible charges to the Prisoner Review Board. This part has been done. Statewide, the Illinois State Police thinks that there's only a little over 100,000 charges that qualify for expungement under the current legislation. Next slide. The Prisoner Review Board is then supposed to notify the state's attorney of the Class 4 felonies that are qualified for the expungements. The Class 4 felonies are the only charges that you can object to. The state's attorney then has to make a decision as to whether or not they're going to object to these charges. Thus far, the list from the Prisoner Review Board has not been received by the state's attorney. In 2020, however, our office provided the state's attorney with a list of the charges that we think are going to be eligible for expungement under the Class 4 felony category. Next slide, please. For other cases that are not Class 4 felonies, the Attorney General's office is supposed to file a petition with our office that lists the records that are supposed to be expunged. In 2019, 91 counties received their list. DuPage was not on that. 11 counties did not receive the list from the Prisoner Review Board. The Attorney General's office, who I've been in contact with, and we've been discussing why we haven't received it, was told that they were going to receive the list for DuPage County in December 2020. It was not received then. They were also told that they were going to receive it in middle of January 2021 and to have a call out to the Prisoner Review Board to see where we stand to get our list so we can begin these expungements. Next slide, please. Based on the information that we've received from the Supreme Court, the Illinois Supreme Court, however, and our own data pool, we believe that when we do receive this filing, it's only going to account for 2,915 records to be expunged. Next slide. This number is a lot lower than what many people expect to be occurring with these automatic expungements. This slide details some of the charges that do not qualify under this current legislation for an automatic expungement. You'll note that many of the charges you would assume qualify for expungement do not. Specifically, local ordinance violations do not qualify for expungements. This is only for the Illinois State Police. Next slide. We have included this slide because we want to point out that just because it doesn't qualify for an automatic expungement doesn't mean people can't go through the regular expungement process to have their records expunged, and we don't want people to forget that just because it's not automatic doesn't mean it still can't be done. Next slide. So how do we proceed? We've been in contact with the Attorney General's office. I've spoken to our representative there, and he is actively working on getting the list over to DuPage County from the Prisoner Review Board. They want to get this done quickly as well. There's also a possibility that the state's attorney can file to have these expungements done on his own accord without waiting for the Attorney General's office to do that. This process is being reviewed. There may be some reasons to do this or not to do this, and the state's attorney's office is also looking heavily into this as to whether we should be filing these on our own accord. In addition, we are working with the Illinois Association of Circuit Courts to prepare trailer legislation that would address the holes in the current legislation and allow for more records to be expunged. So talking about local ordinances and people that are under 21 that don't qualify for these expungements when they got the charge. Finally, we are developing in our office an online application that would make it easier to file and secure an expungement for those that qualify. The goal of this application is to make it easier for all those involved in the process, from the state's attorney, the arresting agency, the Illinois State Police, and judges to do their part electronically. Next slide. This is a list of the relevant acts for your reference if you want to review them. Again, thank you for having us here today. We've only had a short time here, and I know we have some COVID concerns, but I'd like to invite all of you to come to our office so you can see what we're really doing there and get a more thorough review. Does anybody have any questions?
Attorney General and the Prison Review Board, why we don't have that list? I mean, it's supposed to be here in 2019. I mean, that seems unacceptable. And then 2020 and then January, they keep giving you dates and they don't. And yeah, you said the guy you talked to says, yes, we're trying to get it to you, but that's not a reason. I mean, what?
I certainly agree with you. So of the 11 counties, it looks like the majority of the counties that were not provided the list are in our geographic area. So Cook County wasn't provided their list. McHenry County wasn't provided their list.
Populated ones, the ones that require, I mean, when you got
Sure.
a county that's got 5 people in it, it's easy to look through the list and or to do anything. But I mean, if they haven't done the 11 counties, it's probably the 11 biggest counties, which is probably 60 or 70% of the population. I mean, that's unacceptable. I mean, I think we should be doing a lot more maybe with our lobbyists or something. I mean, that the President Review Board and Attorney General has not got us that information. It's unacceptable.
I don't disagree with you. The problem is that according to the statute, this is the process that it has to go through. We have to wait for the Prisoner Review Board to turn over this list. And by the way, the list isn't going to be that very long anyway. It's only 29.
I know, according to your research, it's 2,915 people. I'm not sure what they're doing. I mean, it's not like it's that many to not get it to us. I mean, if it's the 6 or 11 largest counties, they've probably done less than 10.20% of the work. I mean, and it's supposed to have been out in 2019.
Yeah, now our neighboring counties have, through the state's attorney's office, moved to make these, file these petitions on their own accord. Whether or not that's the right thing for DuPage County, we're still definitely researching it. There may be part of the legislation that may have been overlooked and may make that not make sense to do. But we're
I could see if it comes back and we do one that doesn't show up on their list and we do one that's not on the list, or
potentially there's that, and there's some other funding issues that may make that not make sense. So we're looking into those, but we're certainly in close contact with the state's attorney's office. I'm on that.
But have they given you a reason besides we want to get it to you? I mean, a reason why it's been.
They haven't. So our contact is through the Attorney General's office, and he has been in contact with the prisoner. He filed them. He's the one that filed them for all the other counties, for the other 91 counties. And he said he doesn't know why he's not been receiving the list for the 11 counties. He's also said that there's 3 other counties that are asking him to.
Thank you.
So do we have any other comments from the committee? Quickly, Greg. Member Shorzy, sorry, you need to move on.
Real quick, Ms. Adams, you had a slide up there, some petty crimes that are not eligible for expungement.
Right. They're not eligible through these automatic expungement legislation. It doesn't mean that they're not necessarily eligible for expungement in general. It's just under this legislation.
All right. In order to get to the rest of our business, I'm just going to say, if you have other questions, please contact Clerk Adams. I thank you for being here and for all of your team for being here today. And with that, I will ask for a motion to approve minutes of January 19th
So
meeting.
move, Pachowski.
Any additions, corrections? Roll call, please.
Member Pachalski,
Aye.
Member Schwarzy, Member Solomon,
Aye.
Member Zay,
Aye.
Chair Renahan,
Aye.
Member Chaplin. Aye. Member Covert, Member Desart,
Aye.
Member Eckhoff,
There he is.
Member Eckhoff,
Aye.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Member Kajewski,
Aye.
Member Ozog.
Aye.
All right, those are approved. Do I have a motion to combine and approve budget transfers 6A, B, C, D, and E?
So move, Shorzy.
In committee as well? All right, in that case, do I have a motion to combine those items?
So move, Shorzy.
Second. Questions, comments? Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, Pachowski approved?
Chowski, Schwarzy, Chowski.
And who seconded? Member Schwarzy?
Aye.
Member Selman?
Aye.
Member Zay?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert? Member Desart?
Aye.
Member Eckhoff?
Aye.
Member Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Pachowski?
All right, now that those are combined, do we have a motion to approve those items?
So
So-
move Chaplin.
Second.
Desart.
All right, again, questions, comments? Please.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert? Member Desart?
Aye.
Member Eckhoff? Member Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Pachowski?
Aye.
Member Schwarzy?
Aye.
Member Selman?
Aye.
Member Zay?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye. And Member Eckhoff.
Member
Blackoff voting aye.
All right, those are passed. Do I have a motion to approve JPSP 2621 approval of contract purchase renewal IBM Passport Advantage for the Circuit Clerk's Office, $88,722.
So move Chaplin.
Second Ozog.
Any discussion, questions? Roll call, please.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert? Member Desart?
Aye.
Member Eckhoff?
Aye.
Member Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Pachowski?
Aye.
Member Schwarzy?
Aye.
Member Selman?
Aye.
Member Zay?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye. I guess we'll take the next two separately then. Do I have a motion to receive and place on file grant proposal notification violent crimes victim assistance grant, $31,500?
So move Chaplin.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Thank you.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert? Member Desart?
Aye.
Member Eckhoff?
Aye.
Member Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Pachowski?
Aye.
Member Schwarzy?
Aye.
Member Selman?
Aye.
Member Zay?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye. And then do we have a motion to receive and place on file grant proposal notification for sustained traffic enforcement program, $31,837
So move
DOT?
Chaplin.
Second Desart.
Chaplain Desart, any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Member Chaplin?
Aye.
Member Covert? Member Desart?
Aye.
Member Eckhoff?
Aye.
Member Garcia?
Aye.
Member Krajewski?
Aye.
Member Ozog?
Aye.
Member Pachowski? Member Schwarzy?
Aye.
Member Selman?
Aye.
Member Zay?
Aye.
Chair Renahan?
Aye. And those are received and placed on file. With that, old business, do we have any old business on this committee? Member Krajewski.
Just real quick, can I just get somebody to give me a copy of that contract? I've had a couple people ask about the Dominion, and not that I don't trust what people say, but I'd like to read it myself. So if I could just get a copy of it, give it to me so I can see it. Thank you.
We can ask the clerk for that. Anyone else on old business? Any Zoomers? All right, Member Chaplin, did you have something?
Well, I don't know if it's old business or new business, but.
All right, then let's move on to new business. Member Chaplin.
Yeah, thank you. So, excuse me. I'm wondering if the county should have a security audit done. You know, there's, on January 27th, the federal government issued a terrorism advisory bulletin due to heightened threat environment across the United States. They believe that this is going to be persistent up through April. You know, between this advisory, it mentions, you know, extremists with objections to the way the election was run, and excuse me, I have a frog in my throat today. The election was run, and with the impeachment of President Trump,
there may be, some more violence. So, I'm thinking maybe having a security audit done of the county to make sure everybody here is safe and we have, proper protocol here might not be a bad idea this time.
Suggestion on Member Selman.
Thank you, Chair Renahan. Just a comment on that. After the events in Washington, D.C. on December 6th, I did bring this up with Chairman Cronin, and he agreed that it's something we should look at. So I know that he and staff are looking to see how to study that and what the best use of money is, because we want to make sure we're being cost efficient. But just so the whole board knows, that's absolutely on the radar. I think all of us felt maybe like we needed to take a better look after seeing the events on January 6th when there were colleagues that we know in that building. So thank you, Member Chaplin and Chair Renahan.
And we have Nick Hotmeyer here to fill us in on something I'm guessing.
Yeah, your comments are very well taken, and we have been, Chairman Cronin has given direction. I know Chief Briggs, OEM, and then we'll be working with the sheriff to assess the security. I know that we have met with the clerk and to discuss some concerns there as well. And we hope to maybe have an assessment, and if there's any changes, a recommendation to the board in the near future.
Great, thank you. Anything else under new business? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move, Chaplain.
All right, roll call.
Member Chaplin,
Aye.
Member Covert, Member Desart,
Aye.
Member Eckhoff,
Aye.
Member Garcia,
Aye.
Member Krajewski, Member Ozog,
Aye.
Member Pachalski, Member Schwarzy,
Aye.
Member Selman,
Aye.
Member Zay,
Aye.
Chair Renahan.
Aye. All right. Thank you all.